So you want to know my deep dark secrets? I mean, you want to know my secrets to running a successful jewelry business? Well, let's jump into it. First of all, one of the most important things that helped me starting out was my mindset and having a growth mindset and being not afraid to risk things and to try something. And if it didn't work, then it's okay. I just pick myself up again and try again, rather than thinking, oh, if I don't manage to succeed the first time, means I'm not good at it, which means I'm gonna give up, because life is full of challenges. And especially when you're running your own jewelry business, you're gonna reach different areas that you're gonna find super overwhelming, because think about it, like there's a lot of different things that you need to do in terms of running a jewelry business, from website, from photography, from customer outreach. Like there's so many different things besides the actual making of the jewelry. And a lot of us feel really confident with the making, but then nervous to try to do all the other things. And when we start out, we're trying to be a one-woman band or a one-man band, and that can become overwhelming to step out of your comfort zone and to try those other things. So having that growth mindset, and I'm gonna give it a go, and I'm gonna try one step at a time to try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll try and find a resource or ask somebody or find a way to help myself overcome that particular hurdle. So that is super important. And it took me a long time to build that confidence and not feel like a massive imposter. Because when I started making my jewelry, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm such a tiny little fish. Think about it. I grew up in a tiny little village in the middle of nowhere in South Africa, and I found myself creating a jewelry brand in London. Imagine the overwhelm. I literally looked around me, and everywhere I looked, I thought everyone was more successful than me, the jewelry was better than me, they had so much more experience. I grew up with an antique computer that used to time out just randomly, and I literally was completely illiterate in terms of that stuff for a long time. And I was handwriting my uni assignments. So trust me when I say it was a super freaking scary to do all of the tech side of the business, but I knew that it was super important for me to succeed, to be able to do that. So I found ways around it. I asked for certain things. I bribed friends, gave them massages in exchange for helping me with things. I found a way around it, and that was super important because I could have given up hundreds of times. Trust me, I could have. There were times I was pulling my hair out and went for my first run down the canal because I was so frustrated after editing videos, just to get rid of all the frustration from from doing that. So I understand. I really do. So that was super important. So that is step one. Super important to have a positive growth mindset and try one thing at a time. And that's really what helped me in terms of having an umbrella of positivity over my business and the focus on why I was doing it, which helped me get the confidence and the can-do attitude to be able to succeed, because I knew that golden cherry of running my own jewelry business was something that I really wanted to do. So that was step one. Step two was identifying my target audience. For a long time, I had no idea who the hell my target audience was. I was like, yes, it's women aged between 20 and 50. They like jewelry. I don't know, they like minimalism. But that's kind of where it stopped. I didn't know where to find them. I didn't know what other things they enjoyed. There was so much about them that I didn't understand. So it made it very hard for me to communicate to them because I didn't really know enough about them. So once I clarified that, and now I have a super clear image in my head of who my gal is, who my jewelry gal is. And that really helps me to think about her every time I'm creating content. Would she like this? Would she wear this? Would she like to see it in this situation? How can I best create an environment, an aesthetic, and an ethos that she sees herself in as well? So that was super big game changer because back in the day, trying to figure out who it was a lot of like guessing and wishful thinking and also just dreaming up this perfect ideal client. And that became really confusing because, it could be you. But it's also you. Because I felt like I was limiting myself by being too specific because I was like, no, it's for her too. Oh, it's also for her, but it's also for her mum. And that just was really confusing. So it doesn't mean by narrowing down your target audience and having that clearer that other people who are outside of that cannot buy your jewelry. It just means you're going to focus in your attention specifically on that group or that age range with those interests so you can interact and find them better. Sure, maybe they see it and they buy it for their daughter or somebody else. That's totally fine. But trying to be like a catering for everyone aged from 18 to 70, think about it. The way you would speak to an 18-year-old, the way you would speak to a 75-year-old, very different. So you want to have that a lot clearer, and just being focused on the age isn't really enough. You need to go deeper than that. So that was a massive game changer. So I'd highly recommend getting on that one as soon as you freaking can. And point number 3 was me not having a clear idea of where I wanted to go with my business right from the start. I spent so much time creating pieces that took me a really freaking long time, which meant I had to sell them for a high price, which meant I refused to charge that much because it just seemed ridiculous to me. So that meant I undercharged, which meant I was not making a profit, which meant it limited my desire for wanting to advertise or put it out there, because I thought, oh God, I have to make that piece again and again and again. Even I had some really complicated pieces in a shop in London, and every time they placed an order, I was like, oh my God, I need to make those again. And I really didn't want to. The reason I didn't want to is because I wasn't charging enough, and the money for time product exchange didn't feel fair. So I was a bit annoyed when I had to make those pieces, and I preferred focusing on my other ones. But because I'd started out with those ones, I felt like I needed to push them, but I was attached to the idea of those pieces. Once I let go of that, reframed, rethought the way that I create my collections, it was so much better, and I felt so much more comfortable and excited to go out, show people my jewelry, post about it on Instagram, and do all of that stuff, because I felt like it was a better exchange, money for time. Because when you spend hours and hours and you have to then charge, then you charge like 50 to 100 euros, but you've spent like 4 days making it, it's gonna feel not so good. So that was one thing I had to let go of, is feeling like I need to make super complicated jewelry to prove to myself and apparently other people in my head that I was a good enough jewelry designer to be selling my jewelry. But in the end, the way that I saw it was when I was teaching workshops and doing lots of beginner classes, and people were super impressed with a simple ring. They were like, wow, I didn't understand. It's so complicated. And I totally understand why handmade jewelry costs more, because they then appreciated that even the simplest ring, which made me realize me feeling like I needed to go over the top by creating these super complex designs to prove that I am a capable jewelry designer was actually irrelevant. And what I actually wanted to focus on was the fact that I want to create a jewelry brand. And to do that, I need to have a big enough income, I need to have a higher profit margin to be able to sell that, and for that to keep on going. So to reach those consistent sales, I needed to adapt my style of my jewelry, and I'm okay with that now. I make super minimal jewelry. I personally love it. That's my preferred style. And I do it because I like the style and because for me, it's a business model that works well for me. And secret number 4 is getting your jewelry in front of people. So in the beginning, I used to think that because I wasn't getting enough sales, I'll post a picture on Instagram and nobody was running to buy it, and I pressed live on my website and there weren't 50 people lining up to buy my jewelry, that meant my jewelry wasn't good enough. But what it meant is I just needed to show it to more people because, like I said in the beginning, I had no idea who my target audience was. So I was trying a little thing here or a little random thing there, but I wasn't clear about where they were to show it to them. So once I figured that out and made sure that I participated in the right markets, the right exhibitions, and created a brand on Instagram that was reflecting of their aesthetic, then it became a whole lot better. Then people started approaching me. Oh, do you want to participate in my exhibition? Oh, would you like to sell your jewelry in my shop? And at exhibitions, I got a better understanding of who they were because they would approach my stand. Rather than me chasing random different people, it really helped me to understand and see for myself and speak to these people. So it's super important, especially when you're beginning, to not sit at home and post a picture on Instagram and go, oh, nobody's buying my jewelry. Because 99.9% of the time, I promise you, your jewelry is not the issue. I'm sure you make great jewelry. It just means you need to find where to sell it and what's the best marketing strategy for you. So once I narrowed that down and I'd done enough physical events and I understood who my target audience was better, so building my email list from those physical events, and then I could focus on email marketing on my website and all kinds of different strategies that are free, which I actually cover in my Consistent Sales Academy course, which is coming out soon, end of August. There's a link in the description if you're interested in finding out more about creating more consistent sales in your business, then hop on the link down there. So it's super, super important not to feel disheartened by the fact that no one's buying your jewelry, like they're not lining up to buy it right now. But the thing is that you need to remember as well that the industry standard for conversion rate is 1%. So that means if you show your jewelry to 100 people, one person is likely to place an order. So how many people have you been showing your jewelry to? And that's something that I realized was like, okay, if I want 5 sales, I need to show it to at least 500 people. So how am I doing that? So that means a combination of in-person events, your other online platforms, Instagram, speaking to people, word of mouth. Another thing that's super important to remember is that people need to know, like, and trust you. So they need to see your jewelry at least 7 times before they go, who is this person? Who is this jewelry designer? I like them. I've seen them a lot. This is interesting. So once they've seen your jewelry or your brand 7 times, so that's where having a super clear brand so that people recognize it is so important, because then they start to know, like, and trust you. And once they do that, then that is the key to sales. So having that is really important. So to sum up, 4 key secrets that I seriously wish I knew when I started: having a positive growth mindset, having a clear target audience, having a clear idea of where my business was going, and number 4 is getting it in front of people. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next week in another video. If you would like liking and subscribing, I always appreciate it, and I reply to all my comments. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos, any other content you'd like to see me create, then drop a comment down below and I would love to create that for you. Wishing you a beautiful week. See you next week. Bye.